In the Judean desert, an ancient secret waits to be revealed. Among the Dead Sea Scrolls, an enigmatic document known as the Qumran Scroll promises to change everything we know about Jesus. Imagine a text that describes a less divine and more human Jesus, questioning the sacred image that has permeated the Christian faith for centuries. What does it reveal about its origins, about your beliefs? This discovery, hidden for decades, may be the key to understanding the contradictions in the Gospels. What if this manuscript contained truths that were deliberately hidden? The history of humanity could be rewritten. What do religious authorities fear? With each new clue that emerges, curiosity intensifies. What impact would such revelations have on people's faith? And what does this mean for understanding biblical figures who have always been seen in a different light? Get ready to explore a maze of mysteries and theories that defy traditional narrative. What is behind the Qumran manuscript? The answers may be more surprising than you imagine. In 1947, a surprising discovery occurred on the shores of the Dead Sea in the Qumran region. A group of Bedouin shepherds found a series of clay jars in a cave. Inside these jars were the Dead Sea Scrolls, a collection of ancient texts dating back to the 2nd century BC to the 1st century AD. This discovery not only piqued the interest of archaeologists, but also shed new light on the historical context of Judaism in the time of Jesus. The Qumran cave, where the manuscripts were found, was a significant area for the Jewish community that inhabited the region. The Essenes, a religious sect, are believed to have lived there, and the texts found reflect their practices and beliefs. The importance of this discovery extends beyond the archaeological aspect. She offers deeper insight into the religious currents that existed during the Second Temple period, a crucial time in the formation of Judaism and Christianity. The manuscripts revealed that there were several interpretations and practices within Judaism that coexisted and at times competed with each other. This is vital to understanding the environment in which Jesus appeared and how his messages might have been viewed. The impact of the discovery was immediate, sparking a renaissance of biblical studies and a retooling of theological research. By analyzing the manuscripts, scholars were able to observe similarities and differences in the Essenes' beliefs in relation to what is found in the Bible. This new information challenged some traditional interpretations and encouraged academic debates about the origin and development of religious ideas at the time. Thus, the discovery of Qumran not only opened a new chapter in archaeology, but also in the history of religion. Furthermore, the relevance of the Dead Sea Scrolls extends to the present day, influencing theological and academic debates. They continue to be an object of study in numerous areas, including history, theology, and literary criticism, helping to shape our understanding of the foundations of Christianity and Judaism. The Qumran Scrolls are a rich source of knowledge about the Jewish sects of the time, especially the Essenes. These texts include copies of biblical books, commentaries, and sectarian writings that reveal the life and beliefs of this community. Among the documents, there is an emphasis on ritual purity and the expectation of a Messiah, which were central to the Essene identity. The manuscripts offer a fascinating perspective on how the Essenes interpreted the law and prophecies of the Old Testament. For example, their rules of community life and their purification rituals show a desire to move away from the perceived corruption of the Jerusalem temple. This quest for a purer life may have influenced the way Jesus and his followers approached issues of morality and religion. Furthermore, the figure of Jesus can be seen in a new context when considering the beliefs of the Essenes. The manuscripts reflect a messianic expectation that could have resonated with Jesus' message. The idea of a charismatic leader who would bring spiritual and social change was a shared hope among different Jewish groups at the time. The Qumran texts also contain apocalypses and visions that tell about the struggle between the forces of good and evil. This theme is similar to Jesus' teachings about the kingdom of God and the final judgment. Thus, when studying the manuscripts, it is possible to draw intriguing parallels between Essene beliefs and the ideas that Jesus disseminated. The diversity of texts found at Qumran not only enriches knowledge about the Essenes, but also provokes reflections on the plurality of first-century Judaism. This plurality is fundamental to understanding the roots of Christianity and how it differed from existing Jewish traditions. It is a fertile field for research and academic discussion to this day. In the years following the discovery of the Qumran Scrolls, several theories have emerged about the existence of an unpublished manuscript that could offer an alternative view of Jesus. This possibility intrigued both scholars and the curious, leading to heated discussions about what this text could reveal. The idea that a hidden document could challenge the traditional interpretation of Jesus captures the imagination of many people. After all, what secrets could he keep? Some researchers argue that this manuscript could have been written by a sect that did not agree with the way the canonical Gospels portray Jesus. For these scholars, the authenticity of this manuscript is supported by archaeological evidence and mentions in ancient texts. The search for this document raises questions about who had access to it and why it was hidden. This creates an atmosphere of mystery and speculation that fascinates everyone. Furthermore, the hypothesis that the manuscript could contain closer accounts of the life and teachings of Jesus brings to light discussions about the diversity of religious thought at the time. Many believe that if such a document truly exists, it could open new windows into understanding the context in which Jesus lived and acted. This scenario raises the possibility that there are alternative interpretations that have not yet been sufficiently explored. On the other hand, there are those who criticize this tireless search for a hidden manuscript, arguing that it could divert the focus from the evidence we already have. For these critics, the emphasis on a single text can obscure the rich tapestry of beliefs and practices that existed in first-century Judaism. This tension between the search for new things and the appreciation of what has already been found is a recurring theme in biblical research. Thus, theories about the hidden manuscript continue to instigate debate. While some see this as an opportunity to rediscover the figure of Jesus, others warn of the dangers of simplifying a complex story. What is known is that this search is far from being resolved, and curiosity about what this manuscript could reveal continues to captivate the imagination of many. Analyzing the possible descriptions of Jesus in the hidden manuscript compared to the canonical Gospels is a fascinating exercise. The similarities and differences can offer valuable insights into the figure of Jesus and the formation of Christianity. Scholars pore over the texts in search of nuances that may indicate how interpretations of Jesus have changed over time. For example, if the hidden manuscript presented a more human view of Jesus, this could contrast with the divinity that is often emphasized in the Gospels. This type of comparison could lead to discussions about how these narratives were shaped by specific historical and cultural contexts. Each text carries with it the perspective of whoever wrote it, and this can drastically influence the way Jesus is perceived. Furthermore, differences in narratives can have profound theological implications. If the hidden manuscript approached Jesus' message differently, it could call into question the basis of some Christian doctrines. The possibility that there are multiple interpretations of the life and teachings of Jesus challenges the idea of a single truth, which is a pillar of Christian theology. Similarities, on the other hand, can serve to reinforce a connection between different religious traditions. If the core messages of love, compassion, and redemption are maintained, this could lead to a deeper dialogue between the different strands of Christianity and other religious traditions. The comparison between the texts is not limited only to questions of faith, but also opens up space for discussions about the history of religion and its impact on society. This comparative analysis is essential to understand not only Jesus, but also how his figure became a symbol of faith for millions of people around the world. The search to understand the different representations of Jesus continues, and each new text or discovery can add another layer to this complex mosaic of beliefs and stories. The discovery of a manuscript that presents a different view of Jesus could cause significant reverberations in Christian theology. If this text were to suggest an alternative understanding of his divinity or his messianic mission, it would require a re-evaluation of fundamental concepts that underpin the Christian faith. For example, the belief that Jesus is the Son of God and the Savior of humanity could be called into question, leading to intense debates among theologians and religious leaders. Furthermore, this new perspective could open space for a more pluralistic interpretation of Christianity. If Jesus were portrayed differently, this would allow for a broader dialogue between different Christian traditions and even with other religions. This exchange could enrich mutual understanding between faiths and at the same time challenge dogmas that have been accepted for centuries. The possibility of a Jesus with a more inclusive message, for example, could change the way religion is experienced by many people. The implications would also extend to religious practice. Churches and communities could find themselves forced to re-examine their liturgies, doctrines, and even the way they relate to followers of other faiths. The figure of Jesus, central to the Christian faith, could be reinterpreted in ways that reflect the diversity of human experiences. This may create discomfort in some groups, but it can also be seen as an opportunity for spiritual growth. Furthermore, the way Christians understand salvation could change. If the manuscript presented a Jesus who emphasized ethical and social actions more than belief in his divinity, this could lead to a greater emphasis on the moral responsibility of individuals. Salvation could be seen as a more collective process, where personal and social transformation are equally important. The impact of such a discovery would not be limited to the academic or theological sphere. He could influence popular culture, art, and literature, reflecting new narratives about Jesus. This could result in a reinterpretation of Christian symbols and rituals, causing the figure of Jesus to become even more complex and multifaceted in the collective consciousness. The history of religions is full of conspiracy theories and censorship, especially when it comes to texts considered sacred. The suppression of information about Jesus and his teachings over the centuries may have shaped the way he is perceived today. Often texts that did not align with established orthodoxy were discarded or hidden, creating a narrative that favored certain interpretations. This practice is not new and dates back to ancient times when different groups fought for control of religious truth. The censorship may have been motivated by fear of what a new vision might mean for the stability of religious institutions. The Church, in particular, often took a stand against ideas that threatened its authority. Thus, information about Jesus that could be considered subversive was silenced. This phenomenon leads us to question what we really know about the life and teachings of Jesus, as well as the influences that shape the texts that are considered canonical. Furthermore, conspiracy theories often arise when there are gaps in the historical narrative. The human imagination tends to fill these gaps with speculations about what could have been intentionally hidden. The idea that a revealing manuscript was deliberately hidden generates a fascination that attracts both scholars and the general public. These conspiratorial narratives can create a climate of distrust towards traditional sources, encouraging a search for alternative truths. However, the search for a hidden truth can be a risky path. These theories can often be based on unfounded assumptions or misinterpretations of historical evidence. Historical criticism, therefore, becomes fundamental to separate facts from fiction. It takes a critical eye to examine not only what was written, but also what was left out and why. Reflection on censorship and conspiracies also raises questions about freedom of expression within religious traditions. In many cases, the need to protect the faith has led to the suppression of dissenting voices. This dynamic is still relevant today as new interpretations and discoveries continue to challenge established narratives. This struggle between tradition and innovation remains at the center of the religious debate, showing that the search for truth is a constantly evolving process. As we delve deeper into the mysteries surrounding the Qumran Scroll, it's impossible not to wonder, what else could be hidden in the sands of time? This document, which could rewrite the story of Jesus, raises profound questions about the truth behind what we have learned. If this historical Jesus really existed, how does he fit into the narratives we know? And what other revelations lie behind the curtain of secrets kept for centuries? Imagine a world where beliefs are based on new foundations, where the figure of Jesus is seen in a new light. What would this mean for millions of people? The search for answers goes beyond history. It touches the essence of faith and spirituality. Now we want to hear from you. What do you think this manuscript might reveal? Do you believe that the story of Jesus, as we know it, can be challenged? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more content that explores the limits of hidden knowledge. The mystery never stops, and the truth is always seeking to be discovered. Let's go on this journey together.